Sisters, we've all turned up the radio to hear Brother Jimmy Lakey, from coast to coast and shore to shore. Now raise your voice, oh let us all Jimmy Lakey, get out of bed, Jimmy Lakey, raise your voice, Jimmy Lakey, Lakey, hey, can't live without it with Jimmy Lakey, Jimmy Lakey.
How you doing? Everybody's good? I was tapping my toe as well. I don't blame you. Tap the toe, sing along. How many of you know some of the lyrics after all these years of the Jimmy Lakey Mass Choir? How many of you raise your hand if you have ever caught yourself in a random moment humming or singing just randomly 3 o'clock in the afternoon the Jimmy Lakey Mass Choir jingles? Anybody? Raise your hand to confess it. I love to listen in the morning. Jimmy Lakey on the radio. There's infotainment and brilliance to get you on your way. Wake up and start your day the Lakey way. See, you sing that, you know you do, and thank you, because Jimmy Lakey in the morning makes you feel alive. I like it. Tell the choir to sing it again in a moment. We'll get to that. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. No, it's Friday. I've got the wrong sheet in front of me. Delilah, I thought you cleaned up this stuff. That's yesterday's. This is the new one, right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's look up and see the date. Okay, there we go. Friday. It's Friday, December the 19th, year of our Lord, 2025. Glad to have you here on the show. Jaime Lagos, Jimmy Lakey is my name, and a great cast of characters the Friday before Christmas. And all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Anyway, happy Christmas week going into a busy travel day today. The holiday travel season, I think, officially started yesterday, although that's it can vary at various times. So obviously, if you're going at a busy time, you're going at a busy time, whether it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I've been trying to get some last-minute tickets going out of town. I did not plan any Christmas travel, so I've been kind of searching around for some last-minute trips or bargains that might be out there. Maybe I'll take a couple of days with my son and find some warmer weather. Unfortunately, finding last-minute tickets is not what it used to be. So anybody got any website tricks on that? It's fun to try. I do like trying and searching and using some AI tools to search on the internet. But that's what's interesting. There's not a lot of last-minute tickets because these airlines have figured out the airline travel to perfection, and their formula is they don't need to sell last-minute tickets to strand you or to cram in the middle. They sell these planes out. They do very well, and they've adjusted their capacity and ride loads, and their route maintenance has been accordingly done. So anyway, I may go out of town, but I'm not sure. By the way, a programming note: we will not do the show. We will do the show Monday and Tuesday of next week, I'm told, and then we will take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. Again, let me repeat that for those of you that went to the public school system in a teachers union state, and you may not understand what I just said, so let me talk real slow. We will do the show on Monday and Tuesday of this coming week, and then we will take Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas off. Now, what's interesting is I have to tell you that President Trump has followed the lead of producer Chad and I. The federal holiday has always just been Christmas Day. Well, Donald Trump, I guess, following the lead of producer Chad and myself and the Lakey Unleashed Streamcast, podcast, and broadcast, said, that's a good idea those boys have put out there. And so he has now ordered federal agency closed at the same time, so the Lakey Entertainment Towers and the Lakey Unleashed Streamcast, podcast, broadcast are going to be off the air as well. President Trump on Thursday, following the lead of producer Chad and myself, signed an executive order directing the federal agencies would be closed on December 24th and 26th, also continuing to be closed on the 25th. The order directs the closure of all executive departments of agencies of the federal government, effectively giving federal employees the days off immediately before and after Christmas. Those days are now off. The directive applies government-wide, excusing employees from duties on those dates. Agency heads are authorized to keep certain offices or installations open, require employees to report to work if necessary for national security, defense, or other public needs. But that just shows you the size and the scope of what producer Chad and I are doing here, because we announced that we were going to take 3 days off for Christmas, and all of a sudden, boom, everybody in the federal government is going to get 3 days. So pat yourself on the back, producer Chad. Christmas is now a 3-day event, not just on this show, but it has become a national trend, and for that, we have to say you are welcome. Anybody up late last night? I was at a Christmas party, and I was watching my phone a couple of times. Tried not to be on the phone too much at the Christmas party, but it's kind of rude to do that. But I was distracted. Had a heck of a day yesterday, and I was noticing that the shooter at Brown University has been evidently apprehended, but he was dead when he was apprehended. Here's what we know about this guy. Authorities have identified last evening a suspect in last Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University. Left 2 students dead, 9 injured at the finals week. All week long, it looked as if the Providence, Rhode Island police had no freaking clue. Also last week, there was a murder carried out of a renowned nuclear scientist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is MIT. Well, the shooter that they think was now connected to both of them was found dead Thursday evening. Authorities announced a press conference briefing last evening. I came home from the Christmas party and was up watching these press conferences that have been recorded on my devices, my television. This guy is a Portuguese national that was here on something, and this is the part of the story that gets me. I'm all for, I understand there's people that come over and they study here and they go home. Well, evidently this cat had been here since, he'd been here a long time. I read a couple of different tales on the dates he got here. He studied at Brown University. They have not announced a motive. Now, let me go back up. I want you to go back earlier this week, and I want you to listen to the show that we had Nils Gravilius and Metz on, because they broke the story that the Saturday shooting, if you recall, was of a study hall, and it wasn't necessarily a class. It was a study hall, study gathering before their finals week, I guess, coming up, and he went into this building that was having the study hall for this class, and that's where he shot the 2 and injured the 9. And we were told, I believe, by Nils Gravilius this week that the professor of the class that they were holding the study hall was not present because it was only a study hall, but the teacher was only present remotely, according to Nils. The teacher was not on site, and that teacher happened to be Jewish and a big advocate of the Jewish nation and Israel. Now, we also know that this MIT scientist was also very big supporter of Israel, I believe Jewish as well. So is there a tie-in? I have not heard that addressed anywhere except on this show with Nils Gravilius and Michael Letts this week. I'm going to go back and watch that because they're trying to find the motive for this cat. Now, I want to come back to this dude that ended up doing the shooting here, and I want to just read something that I find quite peculiar in this whole story, is that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem late Thursday night paused the diversity visa program. Let me let that sink in. We have a program in America called the diversity program, visa program. It allowed the Brown University shooting suspect to enter the U.S. and receive a green card. In an ex-post, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the suspected shooter, Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, entered the United States through the Diversity Lottery Immigrant Visa Program. In 2017, it was granted a green card. The heinous individual should never have been allowed in our country, according to Kristi Noem. Noem said she was acting at President Trump's direction and ordered the USCIS, United States Citizen and Immigration Service, to halt processing all diversity visas and to ensure that Americans are no longer harmed by this disastrous program. If I'm reading this correctly, by the way, CBS News is reporting that Noem's announcement came after authorities concluded the day-long investigation in which the MIT professor was killed and students were injured and killed at Brown University. I want you to think this through. We have a diversity visa program. So we say America is not diverse enough, really. America is not diverse enough, and so we need to have a lottery and have all the people that aren't old white people, all the people that aren't crackers out there, put their name in a hat, and we're going to dig them out and see if we can bring some diversity into America. I know that there's some communities you may live in that there's not a lot of diversity, but do we really have to import our diversity? You know what? We don't have it. You know, that color of dark skin's different. We need a little. We need some diversity here. We need a lighter. Think of that. We are granting visas to students here not based on whether or not we actually have need for their skills or need for their services. And I know universities are making a lot of money off these countries paying for students to come here at full boat, at full tuition. But you have to ask yourself, why the heck would we have a diversity visa program? By definition, that says that we're not diverse enough. America is incapable. This is, again, I think the left of America. We're racist, we're bigoted, we're homophobic, we're a bunch of crackers running this place, a bunch of people running around in white privilege, and we don't deserve anything except to be punished, and we should bring in some terrorists. We should open the borders. We're not diverse enough. Think of that. Kristi Noem cancels a diversity visa program. Why? Why do we have a program that basically says we're bringing you in because we need more diversity here in America? Thank God they're shutting this down, but sometimes you have to scratch your head and say, why was it even going in the first place? Officials say this guy who killed himself, Valente, a 48-year-old Portuguese national, previously lived in Miami, was found dead by suicide in New Hampshire in a storage unit that he had rented. The diversity visa lottery was created by Congress in the 1990s, and it offers up to 50,000 immigrant visas every year to applicants from countries with relatively low immigration rates to the United States. So we say, we've got 50,000 visas in the nation of Burundi. We haven't brought in a bunch of Burundians recently. We got to draw some Burundians out of the hat. Oh, we don't have enough people from Congo. We got to get some Congolese in there. We don't have enough people from evidently Portugal. And so we ought to draw the hat and see if we can get some more Portuguese in here. Critics have long argued that handing out green cards to a lottery runs counter to the merit-based immigration. Now, I want you to catch what's happening with this visa program that Congress enacted in the 90s. They draw the names out of a hat and say, you're the winner, and you get a visa, and you get a green card. You are totally able to just work here. And how? Because we drew you out of a hat. Yeah, there may be a little cursory screening. We'll make sure the background's good, the fingerprints work out. But you know what? You may be dumber than a box of bricks, and you may not have a lot to offer, but we're going to give you a green card anyway. This has been going on in America since the 1990s. The old phrase, the meritocracy, we're no longer in a meritocracy. We were just basically handing out diversity cards and say, you know what? I know you're not smart, and I know you have nothing to offer America. You have no skill that's marketable that we really need here. Matter of fact, your home country could probably use your skill, and you could make your country a better place. But no, we're going to bring you here, and we're going to give you a green card just because we're nice guys like that. This is what's been going on in America, and the diversity visa program at least is on hold. But I just want you to think of the stupidity of that program. You apply, yeah, they do quote a background check, but now all of a sudden we're giving you a green card, which says you're not just here for your education. You have the right to work here, and yeah, you're going to maybe do what a lot of folks do, and I don't send that money back over to your home country. But the diversity program is ending, according to Kristi Noem. But I just want you to paint that picture through the process by which we've been stocking these universities is they all apply. 50,000 visas are waiting for the diversity visas. And we say, okay, these countries haven't had as many immigrants come in the country as we want. Put their name in the hat. We got to get 50,000 of them. And you draw their name out. And guess what? You draw their name out, and they get a visa and a green card, student visa and a green card, and they get to go to school and stay here and work and make money. It had nothing to do with the marketable skills, had nothing to do with meritocracy. It had everything to do. They put them in a hat. Kristi Noem says after this Portuguese national has been apprehended dead, self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he was on that diversity program since 2017. Kristi Noem has said, well, let's pause this and see if this is the best for America. What a dumbass program. Diversity visa. We're not diverse enough here in America, so let's just draw 50,000 random people and see if we can. We'll just not only give them a visa for school if they want, but we'll give them a visa here to work. That's what we have done here, and it's not real smart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, glad to have you here on the program. I got a question for you real quick. I want to go to my first guest of the day, and the first guest is a favorite of ours. We loved having him. Has been on with us really since the beginning. We'll talk to him in just a moment. But there's a survey out a few days before Christmas, less than a week. And, of course, maybe you've already started watching the holiday movies, and maybe you've started, the kids are in and watching all the, just kind of reminiscing. We haven't put our tree up. I think we're going to do that this weekend. There'll probably be some holiday movies on the television while we do that. U.S. Weekly and did a little evaluation and ranked the very best Christmas movies of all time according to their IMDb score. So according to their score on the IMDb website, if you're not familiar with IMDb, look it up, my friends. You'll see it. What are the greatest movies of all time, not based on opinion, but the IMDb score, the ranking system that's there. Number one is It's a Wonderful Life. Number two is A Christmas Carol, both old classics. Number three is another classic, Miracle on 34th Street, the original. The Christmas Story from 1983 jumps on there. Nightmare Before Christmas. Home Alone comes in at number 6. So I guess we'll just ask you, these are fancy rating systems from IMDb. What is your all-time favorite Christmas movie? I don't need us to devolve into a yeah, I know. Is that a Christmas movie? It does. If it's your favorite, it's your favorite. We're not trying to convince you either way. What's the movie that gets you in the mood for Christmas? What's the movie that gets you really, you know it's Christmas when this happens? And if you want to throw in a television show, like as a kid, I didn't think Christmas could start until I watched the, that animation, claymation of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's when I knew Christmas was official as a child. So what's your favorite Christmas movie and or television show that you kind of watch back, and how does it get you back in the mood? That's your question of the day. So whether you're watching on YouTube, one of the thousands of earballs out there, listening later in the podcast version of the program, thousands of you listen, just scream. We're not live anymore, but just scream your favorite Christmas movie right now. Those of you watching on the dozens of platforms we're on live right now, YouTube, Facebook, X, Rumble, I can't even name them all. Pickaxe, I don't think we did Pickaxe yet. Anyway, if you're wherever you're watching, send a comment and we'll see most of those indeed. All right, let me go to first guest of the morning. You might remember him and his esteemed thoughts and hosting skills on the CNBC and even the Fox Business News. His name is Mr. Dennis Neal, and he's on the stage now. Mr. Dennis, how are you?
I'm great, Jimmy. And if I can just address your Christmas movie topic real quick, I got to tell you, man, first of all, yes, It's a Wonderful Life is by far the best of all time, because it does tell us, doesn't it, that we don't have any real problems. We've got to look at life through a better lens. We've got to realize just how rich our life is and how lucky we are, especially at Christmas. But then let's not forget the cartoon, how the Grinch Stole Christmas, and the cartoon Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Those are two real wonderful films as well.
The Charlie Brown one, I have a great story I'll tell later in the show. I had a listener one time, I knew, a long-time listener. She had followed me around just different stations I was on, and her husband, her longtime husband had passed away, and they came to every event. And this was, and I had moved to a different station, and her family came in. Her husband passed away, and she messaged my producer, like a caller. She had found me, and when her husband passed away, she said, "All I want you to do before you leave, set my computer so I can listen to Jimmy Lakey in the morning in a different state." And so they set it so she could listen. And she called up one morning crying, and she went on the air. "I want to talk to Jimmy. I got to talk to Jimmy. Her husband had passed away." And we had it queued up, and she listened. I said, her name was Darla. I said, "Darla, just stay on the phone. Listen to me. We're going to encourage you with some Christmas." We played the Charlie Brown Christmas, some audio from it. And I went over to Darla, and she goes, "That's what I needed to hear, the real Christmas." She's crying on the phone. It was good radio, but it's accidental.
Right. Nice.
All right. Sorry, I digress. Darla, she passed away recently as well. So anyway, all right, let's dive into this. Dennis Neal, you have a new book coming out called Oregoners. And you're worried about Oregon going the way of New York City, socialism sweeping America. First of all, let's dive into this thing, talk about the book.
Well, yeah, it's going to be months before it comes out. I'm smack in the middle of writing and researching now. And really, Jimmy, my timing could not be better, because this is in the news a lot. And for the first time, really, a lot of rank and filers in Oregon are really rising up and pushing back and making themselves heard. They're sick of this, what's been going on. Let me just rattle off a litany of problems for you, okay? They have a housing shortage. They have homeless that's 4 times the national average per capita in the Portland area. They are losing population, and that's going to continue for decades, where they have more deaths than births. They're losing rich taxpayers. The 1,000 richest highest earning taxpayers in Multnomah County, was tracked by the county, and 300 of them have left within the past 3 years in response to this new preschool for all tax, in which people who earn more than $250,000 have to pay this tax. No one else does, but then these rich people who pay it, they're not allowed to send their kids to the preschools. And the fund has something like a $500 million surplus that's collected already because they can't spend it fast enough because they don't even have the schools ready to receive it. They've only enrolled 2,000 kids. Crime, cops in Portland take more than 20 minutes to respond to a violent 911 call. Just the quality of life is heading down. It's what one economist I talked to is, threatening to turn into a doom spiral. And how do you pull out of that? Well, people are starting to fight back. You now have the governor passed a new Department of Transportation tax increase, and suddenly, in a matter of weeks, almost 200,000 signatures were collected by volunteers in Oregon to oppose this tax and put something on the ballot to try to undo it. They only needed 72,000 signatures. They got almost 200K.
It's fascinating to watch these states that have been turned blue, like my state of Colorado here. We have taxes on this, the preschool for all of that. And then our governor says, well, we can't raise taxes without a vote of the people. It's part of our law here. And so he calls it a fee. And he goes to the Colorado Supreme Court and they say, oh, if it's called a fee, it's okay. If it's a tax, you got to get a vote of the people. So we have been taxed/feed to death here. It's encouraging to see that another state that has taxed themselves to death are now saying, okay, maybe we should lay off on some of these taxes. It's encouraging that they're finally getting their heart right there.
Well, Portland, for example, has the second highest taxes of any city in America, after only New York City, where I live, where I've been for more than 40 years. But people in Oregon told me, hey, the thing is, Dennis, we pay high taxes and get terrible results. Okay. I mean, our police don't show up. If our car gets broken into, they won't even come to visit us. We have to just go on a website. In New York, in Times Square, you guys have observation towers. If somebody messes up there, man, the police are on them right away. Whereas Portland has cops at a 1993 level. They're at only 1.2 cops per 1,000 people instead of the national average of 2.2 per 1,000 people. And there's a proposal that says, oh my gosh, we've got so much extra money for climate change that we're not even spending. How about we divert 50 million over and we go from 800 cops in Portland to 1,200, a 50% increase. And yet the city council, which is dominated by socialists, opposes this because police bad.
Yeah, it's so bad we have to defund them. Then we wonder why our crime goes crazy. It's Dennis. It's one of the things you see in Oregon. I'm sure you see it in other places as well. If we tax people, it's going to be good, and we're going to create some kind of a utopia. And yet, the higher the taxes go, the worse it seems to get, because the higher taxes, Oregon and other states are actually losing billions of dollars because some people say, to heck with it, give me a U-Haul, I'm out of here.
Yeah, in fact, in the metropolitan Portland area, they're losing, one economist told me, over $1 billion per year in income as people move out. And there are older people there worried that their grandchildren and children, they're never going to see them, because to find jobs, they're going to have to leave the state or leave even Portland for neighboring counties. And one guy told me, it was a pretty smart thing. He said, you know what? Every other entity in life is judged by outcomes and results. But in government, you're judged only by, do you get reelected? In Portland is such a Democrat majority, supermajority state. And the Democrat Party, in turn, is dominated by donations from 4 public employee government worker unions. And so that Democrats just keep getting reelected. There's been no Republican governor elected in 40 years. And so they aren't really judging the results. They aren't really scared enough about everything that's going wrong there. And if the state doesn't fix it fast, it'll take decades to do it. But this is a canary in the coal mine for blue states, purple states, blue cities everywhere. They've got to wake up. They've got to stop pursuing policies just because it makes them feel good, because they have a high moral ground, and yet the results are devastating.
Dennis, some of the things we see in New York City, electing a socialist, the things important, we wouldn't have dreamt up probably 10, 15 years ago. Is that will never happen here in America, and yet it's happening. Are we going to get worse before we get better in these cities? Will Mamdani cause people to wake up and go, that was a dumb move? Or it's where are we at in this trend? Because we've gone further than we thought.
I think that a theme that I heard on I visited Portland twice in the past month or so. And quite a few people said, both on Democrat and Republican sides, the problem is it hasn't gotten bad enough yet. We haven't hit bottom yet. Like an addict that has to really go really low before they can finally wake up and say, I got to change this. And that may be true for America as well. And the very fact that we elected Mamdani here in New York is just so ridiculous, so unwise, so stupidly liberal. And we're just going to have to take our punishment and actually see the results maybe before people will wake up.
Dennis Neal's my guest. His latest book's coming up. You can keep following. We'll let you know when it comes out officially. It's called Organers, as Dennis Neal. And, of course, you might recognize him from CNBC, the Fox Business Network, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, etc. Dennis Neal, my guest. Dennis, you also have a podcast that folks might want to escape the craziness of daily news, and they could just tune in and find out what's bugging you.
Yeah, and it turns out it's a lot. It's on the Ricochet platform and Apple and Spotify. It comes out every week. We're on hiatus now for the holidays, so I just posted the last show of the year yesterday, and you can find a really good interview with Christine Drazan. She is the Republican candidate for governor. She lost in 2022 to Tina Kotek, the Lib Democrat. And she's running again, and she's speaking more sharply and more bluntly. Oregon has this thing they call Oregon Nice, where you don't say negative things. You don't really bring up disagreements or controversies, but she's violating that protocol and trying to, shake people by the lapels because otherwise they're assuming in Oregon that Tina Kotek, 3 years in now to her first term, wins re-election without a problem.
Dennis Neal, we wrap up 2025, head to 2026. Anything particularly bugging you about 2025 that you want to fix in 2026?
You know what? I think it's time to start being more optimistic and less Trump deranged syndrome and more kind of, can't we be happy for good things happening in America? I have a book out right now, The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. 11 lessons of Elon that we can borrow for our own lives and careers. Makes a great Christmas gift. It inspires young people, but basically, dream huge, work harder than ever before. You can make it happen just by putting words into the universe and starting to talk about certain things. You can make things happen. So make those positive, good things. I feel like we got to sell the hope. Hope is a decision. It really is.
The leadership genius of Elon Musk. As you're writing, you went from Elon Musk and now you're dealing the woes of Oregon. Is there anything that kind of crosses like, man, Elon wouldn't have done it this way? I mean, Absolutely. Is there any way that they kind of blend together?
The whole reason I got interested in the Oregon area is because Elon was so worried about the woke mind virus that he bought Twitter for $44 billion to free that platform, stop the censorship of differing voices and of the opposition. And it's had a huge impact. It is the world's most important media platform. That is where news happens now. We used to have to read the New York Times, right?
Yeah.
Newspaper of record. Now the New York Times is quoting stuff that is said on X. It's just an amazing thing. And that woke mind virus that so worried him, because his own son, now 19 or 20, who now calls himself a woman and changed his name and got rid of his surname, his own son was infected by the woke mind virus. And so I admire Elon Musk a lot. And I think he's right about it. And I think Oregon is falling victim to it.
The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. That's by Dennis Neal. The upcoming book is called Oregoners. And Dennis, you're also the What's Bugging You podcast. Folks can follow you online. I'll let you tell them all the places they can find the esteemed Dennis Neal.
Yeah, well, check out Instagram. I've got a following there. And also on X at Dennis Neal. It's Kneale. Follow me. Your lives will never be the same.
My life has never been the same since you started coming on the show. So, Dennis, thank you. Have a great Christmas and holiday, sir, if I don't talk to you before.
You too, Jimmy. Thanks so much for your time. Have a glorious day, sir.
You got a Dennis Neal. You might recognize his face and voice from the CNBC, the Fox Business Network. Maybe you've read some of his great stuff at the editorial page of the Wall Street Journal or Forbes. Dennis Neal, great friend of the program. Glad to have him. And again, the latest book he has out there is called The Leadership Genius of Elon Musk. And his new one coming up is called Organers. Dennis Neal, Kneale. Follow him. You'll be better off for doing so. All right, good to have your question of the day. We'll come to our next guest of the morning. Our great sponsor, one of our great sponsors, Sherry Cree, jumping in here. But before we do, we ask the question: what is your all-time favorite Christmas movie? I don't care if you tell me it's a television show. I don't care if it's any movie you want. If it gets you in the Christmas spirit, what is that one? Our Lois says we have a favorite. It's Wonderful Life, but also The Bishop's Wife, Cary Grant. I don't think I've ever seen the Cary Grant movie, The Bishop's Wife. But after Christmas Eve service at church, we eat pizza and watch Santa Claus, the first one with Tim Allen. That's a fun tradition. That's a fun movie, as the Santa Claus there. I'm just kind of catching up. These have probably already been up there. Stacy says, I love Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. That's, by the way, IMDb ranks it as the highest ranked Christmas movie of all time. Even Dennis Neal referenced it there in just a moment ago. All right, glad to have you here on the program. It's the Friday edition. Again, programming note, we will not do the show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll take Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas off. We will do the show on Monday and Tuesday, and I know a lot of you will be traveling, but this is a great way to escape your mother-in-law or your father-in-law. Just tune into me, just put the earbuds on it. Don't forget, if you missed the show live, you can always find us on all of the podcast platforms, Bean, Apple's podcast, Spotify, iHeart. We're there. As soon as this show's over, the podcast version goes up. So we're doing a podcast broadcast and a streamcast all at one time because we can. That's what we're doing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sherry Cree jumps into the program. Sherry, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jimmy.
You ready for Christmas? I know where you're at. You're at your office. You haven't headed to the mountains yet for a little respite?
Yes, I have a closing to attend after the show, and then I will drive up to the mountains this afternoon.
Beautiful property there. Sherry, let's jump into this thing. Get you out of here on time. You do have a closing to get to, and that's a good thing for a realtor, and also a happy family that's going to have a new home by Christmas. That's kind of are they going to get moved in here on Christmas Day?
Yes, absolutely. The buyers are absolutely thrilled. I'm the listing agent, so I'm on the seller side, but the buyers are absolutely thrilled to move into the new home before Christmas.
Very good. Well, good luck to them. I hope it's not the wind. The couch is going to go blowing down the road here today. Let's talk about. I talk about this the teamwork of real estate. I mean, I talk about Sherry Cree, but I've talked to you enough on the show and outside of how it's really a team that makes things happen in real estate. And I remember the family that had the home that kind of a disrepair of a senior family member, and you had to put a team together. I think that's important. You are great at putting the teams together. Talk about the teamwork required in real estate.
Yes, so I always say real estate is a team sport, and I bring shared service team to serve you. To my clients. And then after the transaction, the biggest favorable feedback that I get is Sherry brought all the professionals that needed to play in the role to make the sale or purchase easier.
And so those teams, I mean, you've probably had to find a concrete work, plumbers. I mean, things that you don't think about when you're selling a home. You think, well, look, we'll just clean the carpet. It's going to sell. And suddenly somebody's got to find somebody to do some gutter repair or concrete or sewage. You can find them. Most of us would go, I don't even know where to start looking for that. There's no yellow pages.
Right. And then if you think of, let's say, selling a home, I'm a strong proponent for pre-listing inspection. You need to know what you're selling and then provide transparency. And then also the big ticket items are in great condition or well taken care of. So when you think about it, there's so many contractors, service providers that you get involved. I focus on working with seniors and their families and estate attorneys, that just to approach the sale of the house is
Yeah.
just a part of the bigger picture, financial picture, and then make sure that it aligns with your strategy. Before listing, I bring in the roofer to inspect your roof, sewer line inspector to inspect your sewer line, HVAC contractor to, service and clean up, furnace and AC. That's just the beginning. House cleaners, window cleaners, carpet cleaners. You may need to paint your home and painters. So, but all those contractors, it's not that I'm just Googling who's the painters who can do the job, but I'm bringing in the top contractors. They take pride in their work. So my clients save a lot of time and aggravation working with different contractors that may or may not be the right one.
Sherry Cree is my guest. Her website, again, homeswithsherry.com, one of our great sponsors of the show, homeswithsherry.com. Sherry, you're heading in just a few minutes. You'll turn off your camera and head off to a closing. And you have some, you're selling a house to some buyers, and you said they're very happy and very thrilled and they're excited. But real estate can be stressful. Sometimes as a buyer, you may want a home, but it's just not going to work in the budget, and you get kind of emotionally attached to it. You're a seller. You're emotionally attached to your home. All of your family's memories happen to this house, and someone you feel like they're insulting you and lowballing you on an offer. Talk about that emotional part of keeping focus. People can get, it can be very stressful, and that people become emotional and their attitudes get bad. Their emotions get out of control. You have to deal with that. You're almost like a psychiatrist.
Yes, and a therapist. So when you think about your home, it's your home, very, very emotional experience. It's not just a financial transaction. So we all have emotions, and seller have personal emotions about the house. And then when you're selling the house, it all kinds of life situations involved. So sometimes it's not all about the price. Sometimes the timing is critical, or like, I deal with all different life situations, like, you're getting divorced, and then you're in a very stressful, emotional place, and then you're selling the house, and then you have to agree with the accomplished the sale with soon to be or ex-spouse. So that's high stress. And then also I helped the seller dealing with the terminal cancer. And then they own a big home, but they wanted to liquidate and then use the fund to enjoy life before they start the harsh, treatments, and then, free themselves from responsibility. It comes with owning a home. There are a lot of responsibility. So you have to remember with the residential real estate, it's a life experience. It's emotional experience. And then as an agent, our job is to care for our clients of their emotional needs throughout the journey of selling or buying, and then support them through the process and remove the transaction to be highly emotionally charged. And I always talk with other agents like seller wants to sell, buyer wants to buy. We're going to represent our clients, whichever the side we are in. We negotiate differently to, of course, represent our clients' interest. But our job is to keep the process, in check, and then also our clients support our clients' emotional journey. So agents shouldn't be really about themselves. That some of the agents are really highly charged. We're not fighting. We are facilitating and helping our clients accomplish what they're trying to do.
That's something a lot of folks don't think about as well, that if you have an agent, maybe flashy and they may be very aggressive, but that person can tick off the other people. I mean, you've got to have somebody that can bring both sides together, even if they're trying to get the best deal for their client. I'm guessing you probably have had that maybe some another realtor or family across the table, you're like, oh, let's look for another house. I mean, they can literally kill a deal with bad skills like that.
Yes, the buyer and seller, why are they not directly dealing with the sell and buy? Because they need professionals representing them in the middle to make sure the transaction, find the way, if there are some obstacles come along the way, find the way to closing table without arguing or hating each other. It's nothing personal. And then what makes me laugh is, do you remember maybe, 5 years ago, it was super, super ultra sellers market.
Yeah.
The moment you put a house on the market, tons of people come and fight over the house. And then you get 10 offers in one weekend and they are pick me, pick me, pick me. And then all the buyer's agents are complaining how, arrogant and irresponsible and non-communicative the listing agents were. And then the listing agents were pounding their chest saying like, hey, I sold so-and-so's house in a record time in one day. And then we got $100,000 over asking. It's not really the agents, egoistic, pounding chest kind of thing. It's, making sure your seller understands that market dynamics and get the best out of it. And, nowadays it's leaning towards the buyer's market. And then I see the buyer's agent, when I'm listing agent side, kind of insult us like, well, it'll be stupid of a seller. We're offering this low ball offer, but it would be stupid of your seller not to take it, or they're greedy if they want to asking price and wait for a better offer. Or, like I said, you don't have to call my client stupid or greedy. This is just a transactional. And then we are aware of the market dynamics.
Sure.
So negotiation is not fighting. Negotiation, it doesn't need to be insulting. Negotiation is understanding the circumstances and market conditions and get the best out for your clients.
HomesWithSherry.com. HomesWithSherry.com. Sherry, we will talk soon. I wish you a very, very, very Merry Christmas. I got word yesterday from your people. I won't say who your people are. That you were matching the first $500 of donations for Rivers Promise yesterday, and yes. we got those donations, and then your people, we know who that is, said I should let Sherry Cree know that I committed her to matching donations. So
no, I'm matching donations. Did you reach your goal?
Yeah, we did. We hit it, but I was laughing. I told producer Chad, I said, I hope Sherry got told that she was committing to match funds.
Yeah, I'm always in support.
Yeah. Sherry, you're a great supporter of Rivers Promise. We appreciate you. I wish you a very Merry Christmas. Congratulations on the big closing. You just sold a house, and now you'll take a couple of days. But if folks want to have that conversation, I know it's holiday weeks and stuff like that, but that spring market, that first window is going to be coming up soon. Folks need to be in touch ASAP if they're ready to move in the spring or buy in the spring. HomesWithSherry.com, HomesWithSherry.com. Sherry, we'll talk soon. Merry Christmas to you, and congratulations on your big closing. HomesWithSherry.com. Off to a closing she goes. Hey, don't go anywhere. Doug Giles is coming up. Yep, Doug Giles is going to be up. My brother from a different mother, Doug Giles, will be here in just a bit, and we'll talk to Doug here. Question of the day is, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Your favorite Christmas movie? What is it? A lot of folks voting on It's a Wonderful Life, and I think that's a fantastic Christmas movie. And I don't really care, it's Die Hard a Christmas movie. Yeah, if you want it to be, it is. It doesn't matter to me. Every year people want to get the fights about what are Christmas movies. If it gets you in the Christmas jolly spirit, God bless you. I'm glad that it does. And so let us know what your favorite Christmas movie is. By the way, I see Stacy once again commenting on my shirt. It's a red shirt in honor of Christmas. Yesterday, I had some friends gaslighting me. Look up the original meaning of the word gaslight, and where they tell you something's not happening when you know it is, or they tell you something's not true when you know it is, or it isn't true when you know it's not, all that stuff. So I was getting gaslit yesterday because I had a blue shirt on. And it had, you could say it had some green, but you don't get blue without green, yellow and blue. You don't get green without blue, I should say. And so I had a couple of friends really busted my chops and say, you got a green shirt on. One of them even went and said, that is the same color as the Philadelphia Eagles wear. Well, listen, nobody wants to dress like a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And I looked up the shirt and where I had bought it, and it was described as a blue shirt. And I said, see? And they were gaslighting me. Jimmy, you're colorblind. Gaslighting me. Insulting they were. They really were insulting. And that's okay. They'll have to stand before the Lord one day for their insults. But they were gaslighting me. So I had to go to the store, and I asked 3 random people, females who tend to know colors more than dudes do. I said, what color's my shirt? They says blue. Shook my head and said, I'm getting gaslit. They were trying to convince me all day that I had a green shirt on, and I did not have a green shirt on. Now, so you say it looked good on the camera. Don't worry about the camera. This shirt actually is not red. It's yellow. No, the camera sometimes colors and lightings can change and stuff. Even the reasonable people. Last night we were at a Christmas party and showed a video to a guy and said, is that a blue shirt or a green shirt? And they were still gaslighting me on my wardrobe choices. And the guy said, look at the blue on the screen. It's shade of the blue. It's a blue shirt. Anybody that has reasonability and doesn't have mental illness knew that was a blue shirt yesterday. And they were gaslighting me. I even stopped 3 random people at the store and said, ma'am, excuse me, what color's my shirt? It's not a pickup line. I don't want nothing you're offering there, baby. What color's my shirt? And then I came home, my son, who's very fashion aware, came home with him, and I said, son, I want you to give me an honest answer. What color's my shirt? And he was in the television room, and he was watching a little dark in there. He turned on the light, looked at it, took his phone, lit it up. He goes, that's a blue shirt, Dad. Because he knows I struggle with my colors as well. So anyway, for those of you who give me a hassle yesterday about a green shirt, lump of coal in your stocking. Lump of coal in your stocking is what you're going to get. By the way, if you're not in the Christmas spirit yet, I have some ideas. I have some great ideas. We got some news stories here as well. But there's some suggestions that come out. One of those could be to watch that favorite movie of yours. How do you get in the Christmas spirit? Watch Charlie Brown's Christmas. I think that's a fantastic way to get in the Christmas spirit. And you don't have to commit a long amount of time, but you can really enjoy it. There's another list out here about how to get in the Christmas spirit. They say play some holiday music. That's a good one. The Christmas Story or Elf, something on that list can be good. Elf's another one. The Santa Claus is fun. Plan one small holiday event. Maybe go to an event. Yesterday, I'll be honest, I had this invite to a party, and I had a very big day of I'll call it a stressful day, just doing other things and fundraising and just trying to get our end of the year goals met for Rivers Promise. And I was kind of said, I'm not going. I've got work to do. I'm going to sit at my office and I'm going to work. And then it hit me. I said, you know what? I got to go spread some Christmas cheer. So I last minute showed up at a party that I had RSVP'd no to, and I said, I'm coming anyway. So I went there. So sometimes getting out of the house, if you have the holiday doldrums and you want to get in the holiday spirit and you're not feeling it at that moment, I was not feeling it yesterday. I'll be quite honest, yesterday afternoon. So if you go to the party, and even if you don't want to, and I actually knew that if I don't go to the party, I'm at least going to have to go back to the store because I was a little stressed yesterday. Anyway, do something nice for someone else can get you into Christmas spirit. Make a donation to a good cause. We give you lots of good causes on this program, just to know that your little donation, a small donation, is going to go a long ways. Take some food down to the food bank. Look in your pantry and take some things down there. And in other words, a lot of times getting out of the holiday doldrums is getting out of yourself and getting out and doing something else. So go take some food to the pantry. From the pantry to the food bank, that could be a good thing. And yes, maybe you might want to look at the old photos or reminisce a little bit, but sometimes that can bring about some bad emotions. But number one thing on the list that they have on this website is a lot of times it's looking externally, not internally, because sometimes we look at internally at Christmas time, not to get psychological here, but that's kind of the problem. We start looking at ourselves going, yeah, you didn't work on that one. Yeah, so go outside, bro. Take the food Go to the church service. By the way, our church is having, I'm going to this, producer Chad and I attend the same church. He's going this evening to the Christmas Eve service, and or the Christmas services, I should say. It used to be on Eve. It depends on the time of the year. And then I'm going tomorrow to the Christmas services, and then they take the week off, and they give the staff and everybody a week off for the Christmas season, and that's a good thing. Anyway, get yourself in the Christmas spirit, and maybe by telling us what your favorite Christmas movie is. And some of you have some very nice traditions with the Christmas movie. Anybody hear this story? I'm not a big NASCAR fan or follower, I should say. I don't mind NASCAR. It's just not my thing. I watch the F1 with some friends on occasion. They have a watch party, and I'll watch it with them. 2 or 3 races a year. But it's not my real thing. I'm not fascinated by it. I don't follow it. Well, there's a NASCAR racer named Greg Biffle, and Greg Biffle had a Cessna, and they were flying. I think that they were flying out of a North Carolina regional airport, and the plane went down, and the whole family and some other people died. Here's the story, though. Greg Biffle's wife sent a distressing message to her mother moments before the plane crashed at the regional airport in North Carolina. Her name was Christina Grossu Biffle, told her mother in a text message, "We're in trouble," according to People. Her mother said, "She texted me from the plane and said, 'We're in trouble,' and that was it." The unimaginable tragedy took the lives of 7 people, including former NASCAR star, his wife, their son Ryder, his daughter Emma, Dennis Dutton, Dennis's son, Jack, and Craig's Wadsworth. Kathy Grossal told People that the crew was headed to the Bahamas for a birthday trip, and the plane was set to fly to Sarasota, Florida, before heading over to the Bahamas. And to think that they would be killed on a birthday trip, said the mom of the racer's wife, said it was just a fun time for the family to see the horrific way it ended. It's just so hard to bear. I cannot believe they are gone. So what a horrific text. And, I'm trying to think, and I'm not judging. I don't know what's going through someone's head. I'm surprised you're able, if you know your plane is in trouble and things are not looking good, I'm surprised you're even able to get that typed in there. And that's amazing. But may they rest in peace. And what a horrible tragedy. Again, former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, his plane crashed with his family, killing the entire family yesterday in North Carolina. Also, we have this breaking story that we're continuing to find out about the Brown University shooter that was caught. Evidently, the final tip came. Now, catch this. Brown University not just heard all week that part of the campus didn't have cameras, but we're also now finding out that one of the tips they got was from a homeless man in the area. And evidently the homeless man, since there's no cameras, and that's one of the buildings at Brown University that doesn't require a key to swipe into it, the homeless man lives in the basement of the building. It's like, what kind of Ivy League institution are you running there in Providence, Rhode Island? But they got the tip, and the guy is a Portuguese national that was here in a diversity program, because evidently our immigration services haven't thought that we have enough diversity. So we import diversity on a random sweepstakes / drawing type thing. And in doing so, we're just importing people. Not meritocracy. It's not about what they can offer the country. It's just we're just importing them for no reason. Give me your thoughts on this one. This is an interesting story that happened yesterday. I sometimes cringe because I know the response is what the response will be. But the Kennedy Center, most of us in real world don't ever think about the Kennedy Center. But I think for people in Washington and people in New York, they're very big into the theater, and they're into these centers, and it's prestigious is what it is. Most of us have never thought about the name or the repair or the maintenance of the Kennedy Center, but Donald Trump has made it a big priority. It's a place where they have the Kennedy Center's honors, in which the celebrities get together and pat each other on the butt and tribute to each other. It's kind of an elite type of place. And Donald Trump, even though he's like a blue-collar billionaire, really enjoys the prestige and I think the pomp and circumstance that represents at the Kennedy Center. So he put Richard Grinnell in charge of the Kennedy Center, and it was named to save the center and just kind of oversee it. He's a special envoy for Trump. And the board, he then put his own people on the board. And so the board of the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts voted to rename the building to the Trump Kennedy Center on Thursday. We took Trump on a tour of the place, and the center was really in terrible disrepair. They told Newsmax the roof was leaking. We had fountains that didn't work, elevators that didn't work. The place was crumbling. When you drove underneath it in Washington, D.C., the concrete roof was falling on cars. We had lawsuits. Richard Grinnell said the maintenance of the Kennedy Center just kept getting deferred. He says, I believe it was almost criminal to ignore this place for decades. All the people complaining today about the name change are the ones who actually didn't do anything for decades. When Trump assumed leadership of the center, the institution was paying the staff with debt reserves. Financially and physically, the place was in disrepair. The name change was about making the performance arts venue more bipartisan. It's got a new name. It's the Trump Kennedy Center, and I think it should be celebrated. And by the way, and I had not heard this part of the story, and I listened to say, usually presidents and their commissions start naming things after they've gone. And again, this is not a big deal because the Kennedy Center doesn't really bother me. But if it was really in that big a disrepair, and old Joe Biden, Barry Hussein Obama, and all these other presidents have let it go into disrepair, then good for President Trump. And if he's going to save that center and make it work and make it operational and make it more functional and fiscally responsible, then yeah, he should get his name on it. But usually that happens a little bit after your presidency. But hey, the guy's pushing 80. Might as well start naming some things after yourself now because heads are going to explode no matter what. Speaking of redecorating, the president has been rather controversial because he's been doing some redecorating of the White House, putting gold trim up there. And he also has this presidential walk where all the presidents are lined up in their photos. You perhaps have seen that. Well, President Trump, knowing how to be the best troller in the world, he can troll people and he pokes the bear a little bit. He took some not so subtle swipes at his predecessors with new plaques below their portraits in the new Presidential Walk of Fame. So they established the Presidential Walk of Fame, and then he said, well, let's add some plaques there. And former Joe Biden had already been mocked in the installation when his photo was actually a representation of the auto pen as the 46th president. And now, so that's kind of funny. He's just having a good time. Here's what the plaque under Joe Biden's read. Part of it. It says, Sleepy Joe Biden was by far the worst president in American history. Biden oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters that brought our nation to the brink of destruction. His policies caused the highest inflation ever recorded, leading the U.S. dollar to lose more than 20% of its value in 4 years. And nicknamed both Sleepy and Crooked, Joe Biden was dominated by the radical left handlers. I think it's quite funny. I think it's quite funny. Is it petty? Is it child? Yes, but he's having fun. Donald John Trump is having fun. He's putting plaques up there. He also put a plaque under Obama's photo on the Presidential Walk of Fame. In his plaque said he was one of the most divisive political figures in American history. It said as president, he passed the highly ineffective Unaffordable Care Act, resulting in his party losing control of both houses of Congress and the election of the largest House Republican majority since 1946. The first of the two plaques says. I think it's funny. If you'd like to comment and say, don't do this, President Trump. Listen, they're going to have Trump derangement syndrome no matter what. So might as well, I guess, have fun with it. That's all I know to do. Trump is mocking Obama and Biden with their plaques. And I think he put one up for Clinton as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a couple of weeks, and it'll be the final time this year we talk to him because next Friday we will be Thursday. Yeah, Friday will be off for the day after Christmas Day, and then next week we'll be off for New Year's Day. So we'll reconvene in 2026. But my brother from a different mother, Doug Giles, artist, author, commentator extraordinaire. Doug Giles, good morning, sir.
Jimmy, look at this beautiful book right there, man.
I see it.
Do you have that one? Did I send it to you?
Let me put my screen bigger. Read the title there. I believe I do have that one. Well, your name is in the way. Which one is that?
Yeah, that's Biblical Badass.
Biblical Badass is the old man. No, I don't have that one.
Oh, dude. Man, I'm telling you, that book will light wet wood. So, not saying that you have wet wood. But
I was going to say, how are we going to interpret this part of it? I don't know. You've got all sorts of books, and they're great Christmas presents. I bought one last year for my son, and by the time he flew back to school in Missouri and checked in that night and said, how's your book going? He goes, I'm done with it. He'd already digested the Doug Giles book. So there's still time.
That's a great thing about my books, man, is that they don't make you feel bad. Have you ever had an author give you like a 900-page book? And it's like, here.
Yes.
And it's like, I'll never read that. I remember when Eric Metaxas gave me his book Bonhoeffer, and he signed it, got a nice tribute in the front, and I was like, Eric, I'll never read, I'll never read this. I don't have time.
It's thick, yeah.
You know, it's like unless it's the Bible, man, I'm not plowing through 900 pages.
Yeah,
you know,
not gonna do it.
so with my books, you know, if you have like a prolonged bowel movement, you can read the whole thing. You know,
If you need a laxative, you might. If you, yeah, we've gone from wet wood to laxatives. I don't know what this. It's the Christmas season. Doug Giles is my guest. Doug, I saw last week you weren't with us because you were on television, national television, showing some of your artwork, weren't you?
yeah. So Matt and Lori Crouch, they reached out to me to be on their Praise show, which is their primetime flagship show, and Matt's been over to the house. He's checked out, you know, the gallery, the man cave, and we've kicked around, you know, launching a show based upon my mendacity and my take on Christianity, culture, and politics. And so we did the filming last Thursday. We talked about the purpose of pain, and Matt said, "Can you send me over some high-res images of your artwork?" And because I want to, you know, correlate, you know, your artwork with these epic biblical heroines and heroes with the pain process that they went through. And Jimmy, when I walked into that studio, man, you know, those pictures don't do it justice. So they have LED, you know, floor to ceiling screens that they can drop whatever image they want to in. Bro, it was a massive dream come true. I'm telling you, it was so weird to walk into that huge studio and see years of artwork, you know, that I've done in my little lonely studio over here, and to see them get international attention. TBN goes out to 1 billion people, you know, worldwide, and so that show's going to be January 6th at 7 p.m. Texas time.
January the 6th. I'm sure we'll remind everybody. I'll write it down now just in case we don't reconvene. But January the 6th, Texas time on the TBN. Doug Giles, what the heck do you do at the Giles Estate on this for the Christmas season? I know you kind of have an untraditional Thanksgiving. What about the Christmas season?
Yeah, so we eat something I shot, and I shot a red stag last month, and we just got all the meat from Kerrville. And just beautiful. I mean, it's so much meat, man. I'm telling you, I will send you meat. So we're going to eat meat, and we're going to watch football. And I had this guy the other day on a podcast, like, so what do you want for Christmas? Like, what? Kind of stupid. If I want something, I'll get it. You know, I'm not 12 years old. I want a Hot Wheels track. You know, it's like, good Lord, man. So I was thinking about it. It's like, you know, okay, so for Christmas, like, if you really want to know what I want 3 things: peace on earth, goodwill towards men, and a machine gun. That's it.
That's all.
I'm a simple man.
and I like it. Doug, let me ask you this question. This is kind of a news story here, but this Brown University shooter, turns out he also shot the MIT professor, got a weird guy. But I didn't know this. We have something in America called a diversity visa program, in which every year we have 50,000 visas that we give out to people that we don't. It's not meritocracy. It's a lottery. It's a drawing system, and they don't just get a visa like for school. It's like a visa with a green card, and it's called the diversity program. That's all it's called, the diversity program. We look at all the countries that we didn't bring enough of them in for, and we bring them in here. Kristi Noem says no more diversity visas. What the heck's going on? We're giving diversity visas.
Yeah, it's just the lame gayifying of the United States of liberal acrimony. And, you know, with these diversity things, we get all kinds of weird critters that are not going to assimilate. You know, this is a melting pot, and their little chunks of stew are not going to melt. And you get bad actors in, like that cat from Portugal that shot.
Yeah.
I think the girl was I think that was an assassination. I think that was a hit. I mean, what are the chances that the white, blonde-headed, blue-eyed Christian girl, conservative Christian girl, on an incredibly liberal university, probably the most liberal university, in the United States, that they don't give out grades there at Brown University, that this gunman comes in and just strafes her with 9mm rounds, and
Yep.
I think that was intentional, and but we're not going to get squat from Providence and Brown University if there's any kind of non-narrative affirming details coming from this thing. So
I heard we had one of our guests, Nils Gravilius and Michael Lutz this week. They said not only this MIT professor was killed, who's very pro-Israel and I guess Jewish, the professor of the class that was meeting for study hall on Saturday was also, they heard from their sources, were Jewish and pro-Israel, or at least Jewish, and but they happened, because it was a study hall, they weren't there on premises, and so could it have been they were going for two different professors and the Christian girl? I don't know, but fortunately that other professor wasn't on site because it was just a study hall.
Yeah, just looking at Brown University, they've got what, $8 billion in the bank, and they can't put cameras in, and it's because, like the president said, well, it's an old building. Yeah, you could still put cameras in old buildings, you stupid, you know what?
It's, Jeff says on the YouTube this morning, he said Keystone Cops around Rhode Island, DEI at its finest. And matter of fact, the police chief of the Brown Police Chief Force, he was actually fired from Utah, University in Utah. And Brown says, "Oh, we'll hire you because you're the right color skin." So
you speak broken English, so you'll work, man. We check off our Mexican box right there. Boom.
we got it. Doug Giles, holiday season's coming up. People can get your books. Is there still time to get artwork? I know books, Amazon gets those out real quick. DougGiles.org, all things Doug's, but even start off the year with some better art in your house.
Yeah, the art's going to be difficult. But what people do is they take pictures of what they purchased, and then they give them a photograph on Christmas Day, and then like on January 6th, boom, it rocks up to the house and stuff. But I tell people all the time, man, give the gift of art. That stuff stays around. It lingers. It speaks to you. It shoots adrenaline into your soul. Take off. I guarantee that a lot of your listeners right now, man, have some boring ass wall that it's just got nothing on it. And you're just sitting there looking and staring at that wall with nothing on it. Spice it up, man. I've got my biblical badass collection. I've got, just great cowboy and Indian stuff. My Trump art, it's hilarious. And, I know I painted it and I created it, but I was looking at one the other day and I laughed so hard, milk came out of my nostrils, Jimmy, and I haven't had milk for 36 years.
So it's good art, and you can go to DougGiles.art, DougGiles.art, DougGiles.art would be a good place to go. Doug, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, sir. I hope you get a little bit of, a whole lot of cigars smoked, burnt offering to the Lord during the Christmas season.
Absolutely. 3 a day, brother, 3 a day.
That's what I shoot for, my friend. That's what I shoot for. The doctor says, how often? They say. I said, just on special occasions, and I usually have about 3 of those a day.
Yeah, I like it when they asked George Burns, Johnny Carson said, hey, what does your doctor think about you smoking 12 cigars a day? And he goes, I don't know. He died 30 years ago.
He's already dead, and I'm still going good. Doug Giles, people need to buy the books, DougGiles.org, or go to Amazon. Look up Doug Giles if you're looking for last-minute gifts, coffee table books, there's stocking stuffers. It's all there on the book section at Amazon, and also the artwork is fantastic. And Charlie Kirk, that art is still relevant, and you can get some prints of those that I have in the other studio, in the smoking studio down the hallway here. So Doug Giles, a pleasure, sir. We'll talk next year, I hope.
Yep, right on. Merry Christmas, bro.
You got it. Merry Christmas, my friend. DougGiles.org, DougGiles.org. All right. We are wrapping up this Friday edition of the show. We're going to be reconvening next Monday and Tuesday. We'll take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. A couple of little housekeeping notes, if I may. A little programming note. Next month, we will be announcing, maybe by next week, our first. We're going to start doing a little bit more of the shows. We're going to do the Lakey Unleashed Road Show, and we're developing that right now. Some of you in different states may see the Lakey Unleashed Road Show coming to you for live streamcast, podcast, and broadcast. And also, we have one coming up in January in Colorado. It's going to be our first Lakey Unleashed Road Show. And we're going to do a particular show at a particular date in January. We'll update you on that. So all of you people that are in or around Colorado, you want to come to the road show, we're going to we'll do the show live, and we'll have a great time while we do it. And we'll open up the microphones and let everybody talk. Also going to do some town halls coming up. That is a big section as well, to where you actually can be a panelist on some of the programming that we do. So stand by for that. That's coming up as well. Forthcoming, as we would like to say. It's Friday, the 19th day of December. Again, 2 shows next week. I've asked you very bluntly the last couple of days to participate in giving to our charity work at Rivers Promise. I know many of you have. Some of you are still waiting to do that. Maybe you're waiting for some money to hit the bank. I get it. I'm just going to ask you to consider it out there. Riverspromise.org, riverspromise.org. I'm waiting for the report from Africa now. They're having one of our Christmas parties here today. I'm waiting for that. I was stressing around to make sure I sent them all the money they needed immediately yesterday and had that in the accounts for them. So it was a very busy day, and I was ready for a couple of cigars by the end of that day. But again, $1,950. We have not hit our full 15 people. That would give $1,950. That funds an entire classroom for Ready, entire classroom for 30 days, an entire month, 30 kids taken care of, $1,950. If you would like to help us, feel free to do that, make that donation. If you can't do the whole thing, do part of it. And if you don't want to do any of it, then don't do any of it. How about that? Also, if smaller amounts, you say, well, maybe the big numbers that matter. No, the small amounts help us as well. $10 is what it costs when a child needs a school uniform. And kids tear up uniforms, and some kids are enrolled in the school. We change them out. We need uniforms, and that's $10. $10 allows us to get a kid a uniform. That's not a lot of money. Most people could probably pull $10 together every once in a while. $25 buys them right now the pairs of shoes that we're giving away for Christmas. We still could always buy more shoes. $25 is a pair of shoes for a child that normally would not have shoes. $30 feeds a kid for an entire month, 2 meals a day. So just because you hear me asking for $1,950 does not mean that the small gifts don't matter. They all matter, and they all make an impact in Rwanda. Go to our website, riverspromise.org, riverspromise.org. If nothing else, say a prayer for us, and that God will provide everything that we need there. Jeff has a great idea, the sleep store or a Whataburger tour. We got a lot of ideas. We're going to see how it happens. I'd like to go down, maybe even see a Doug Giles down that way. Some of my favorite cigar shops in Texas. We're working out the details, and we'll see how we can pull this off next year. But we will have one in Colorado in January, the Lakey Unleashed Road Show, and that's it's gonna be the anniversary of the inauguration. Okay, so we all gathered. It was, remember the inauguration? We were at the Casbar Cigar in Lafayette, and it was like negative 23 degrees. The food truck couldn't even operate because it was freezing up, and so they had to bring burritos in. It was so cold. I got to the show and slid through the intersection on the ice and snow. It was a cold day. That was inaugural. We're gonna reconvene at an announced location soon for another day, the 1-year anniversary of our first Lakey Unleashed Road Show. We didn't call it that, but we're going to do that on January the 20th. So mark your calendar and come see us. We'll do the show live and in public on that day. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to be here. Make those donations. We appreciate you all doing that. Feel free to donate early, donate often. Riverspromise.org, riverspromise.org. Hey, if you're heading out of town and we don't catch you over the next couple of days because of the holidays, don't forget, go to the podcast platforms and like us there, subscribe to us. And that way, even when you're away, you can hear the show, listen to the show. And if you miss the show live because, family's over, don't forget all the streams that we're on right now live and you're watching it. They should be in the history, and you can go back and watch it again, or just listen to it audio podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, all the places that fine podcasts are paying attention to. You can find it there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in a red shirt today, and you're welcome. Don't tell me it's yellow. It's not. It's really red. They tried to gaslight me on the blue shirt yesterday, but that was not very nice. And those people are, they'll meet the Lord one day, and he'll deal with them for that nasty gaslighting of my shirt. Leave my shirts alone. Why are you worried about? Listen, I see how some of you people dress. Why are you so worried about my shirts? I've seen your fashion senses. You might want to work on that. Clean up your own closet before you work on mine. Get off my lawn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Oh, hang on. We got to do the memes. Somebody remind me we got to do the memes. Stolen meme section of the show. Pause. False alarm. See, this is why producer Chad is good. He sends me a message that says, memes, dumbass. That's what he didn't say that. He thought it, though. All right, here we go. Sorry, I got so wound up in that. Round and round my globe is broken. It's a sign. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. It's Dr. Jill Biden making an appearance on the screen. Ex-Biden staffers refute Trump's autopin accusation by posting the photo of President Biden hard at work in the Oval Office. Was it the autopin or was it Jill Biden making all those crappy decisions? If it turns out that it was Jill Biden making all the decisions in the Biden administration, it doesn't go well for it proves maybe why America was not ready for a woman president. I say that in jest. America doesn't mind if it's a woman president as long as it's not that woman as the president. Here we go. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. There's old Cory Booker to show solidarity with trans kids. Cory Booker is getting his vagina removed. That's funny. Merry Christmas, Cory. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. It's the Wizard of Oz. But how do you talk without that brain? And this Dorothy asks, and the Scarecrow says, I'm a Democrat. Yeah, that's true. I talk without a brain. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. This just in. Democrats claim Venezuelan drug boats are manned with elves delivering Santa's presents and should not be shot. Yeah, what is it the Democrats have with drug runners and it's a criminal enterprise, that Democrat Party, isn't it? Their elves are just fishermen. Anybody seen a fisherman that goes that fast in a speedboat? Yeah, I don't think those are fishermen, my friends. I'm not much of a fisherman myself, but slow. Don't scare the fish. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. When you realize that your wife wasn't crazy till you met her, so maybe you did make her that way. Yeah, we have that look. You made her crazy. Why is she so crazy? Well, you married her. Well, she wasn't that way when I married her. Yep. 1 + 1 = 2. You're welcome. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Santa said I would shoot my eye out with this thing. I told him to shut his commie liberal mouth. There's a Christmas Story reference for you. That's just a funny movie. I don't like it, but I love it. It's one of those things I'm like, I don't want to watch this because it's so dumb, but it's so good. And I just don't know what to do. All right. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Vince the sign guy has an advertisement that says, does carrot cake taste like boogers to snowmen? That's just... That's like, I don't know if that's a dad joke or a third grade joke. I'm not sure. Delilah, I'll explain it. A snowman has a carrot for a nose. Did you ever see Frosty the Snowman? You're a communist. Round and round the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. All the way from China, we've stolen all the intellectual property we can, and we're not going to do any more today because Chinese get very mad. If they get any madder, they may release a virus on us, and you don't want that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got my red shirt on. I'm going to go to take my day job at Target. I'll see you in the toy section. No, it's actually an idea, Delilah. I could go work at Target and see how that works out for me. That's a question today. What section would you want to work in Target? I hadn't been to Target in so long, I don't even know. But I'm going to go work at Target the rest of the day. And for that, you're welcome. Find me there. I'll be there. I'll be in housewares. Mr. Lakey in housewares, you have a call. Lakey in housewares, you have a call. Somebody just posted something about it. I didn't see it. Start a new Jimmy on the shelf with your bobblehead. I went to a Christmas gift exchange last night, and I wasn't planning to go to the party. I was really not in the mood. Well, I made myself get out and go to the party, and I went to the party last night, and I just grabbed a bottle of bourbon that I had that was unopened, and I grabbed it, stuck it in a bag. And I think it was the best gift of the night, honestly. I think I'm like Trump. I brought the best gift you've ever known to mankind, because what I got were socks laced with aloe vera. I don't know. Somebody got the whiskey from me, and I realized I should have just taken him a Jimmy Lakey bobblehead. Everybody have a great weekend. Lakey on the program. And I'll see you tomorrow, Monday morning. Good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. God bless you. God bless America. Jimmy Lakey. Peace. I'm out of here.